Satanas, also known as STS, is a street gang that mainly consists of Filipino members, and they've been established since the 1970s. Originally based out of Los Angeles County, they are considered to be the oldest Filipino-American street gang to date. During the 70s and 80s, Satanas was unmatched when it came to the Filipino gangs of Los Angeles, quickly spreading its influence to various other cities such as Cerritos, Eagle Rock, Delano, and even San Jose. Satanas had a lot of influence when they were peaking in activity back in the 80s. They are the reason gangs like Hellside, Tres Canton, and Little Pinoy Satanas came to be. Many have claimed that STS was originally a clique within a bigger gang under the name Temple Street. Temple Street is considered to be the oldest street gang established in Los Angeles County back in the 1920s, or one of the oldest I should say, and is also based out of one of LA's oldest streets that stretches all through downtown Los Angeles. Satanas and Temple Street essentially share the same neighborhood because they are only blocks away from each other in LA. Temple Street had a lot of Filipino members, even having enough to have a whole clique under the name Pinoy Locos, also known as PLS. For this reason, many have claimed that Satanas was once a clique of Temple Street that eventually branched off to do their own thing. However, there seems to be a lot of confusion with that statement because many have also claimed that Satanas was always its own entity and that Temple Street and Satanas were merely clicked up in the streets and worked closely together. And in this video, we're going to take a dive into the history of Satanas because there's a lot of speculation around it. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Ryan. I'm going to tag his Instagram right here. He's a local artist that makes these badass designs, and he sent me this awesome rug, which is basically like this Korean flag made out of bandanas, which is fucking sick. I mean, it fits in with my channel like perfectly. He also sent me this badass fucking photo of a Korean flag art that he did, and it has a fucking certificate of authenticity, which is always fucking dope. Shout out to Ryan, thank you so much. And I'm gonna have his Instagram linked in the comment section. I'm gonna have his Instagram linked in the description below. And like always, if you guys want to send me something, don't forget to get at me on Instagram to get the PO box address. But without further ado, let's get into it.
We had information of a possible gang fight in the making.
I don't know how to say this in a way where it won't offend anybody, but I've spoken to my wife about this, and she's spoken to a lot of her friends about this topic, so I can say with somewhat confidence that Filipinos have a hard time with identity and feeling like they belong here in the United States. Most would consider Filipinos to be Southeast Asians, which is a fact, but it's hard to deny the Spanish influence that the Filipinos have. The Filipinos and Latinos share a lot of similarities, from sharing last names to being family oriented. I mean, for crying out loud, both groups have their own version of menudo. So it's not too shocking that Temple Street had a lot of Filipino members. But the Filipinos and Latinos have also had friction in the city of LA for quite some time. So besides gangs like Temple Street, most of the Latino gangs were not too fond of the Filipinos. By the 1950s, Filipinos were able to purchase land in the US, and many bought their first pieces of land in what we know today as historic Filipino town. Many Filipino men would be seen hanging out on street corners and storefronts in Barkada style. Barkada stands for a group of friends, and most of the time, loyalty is huge amongst these groups. And this has been a part of the Filipino-American cultural landscape for quite some time. In 1972, a group of Filipino-Americans started kicking it in Filipino town during the weekends. A lot of these guys were coming from other cities like Anaheim, Eagle Rock, and some even came from cities as far as Delano. There were a lot of Barkadas back in the 1970s, but this Barkada was a little different because the group collectively showed a lot of interest in cars. They would often meet up on the weekends to show off their builds, and apparently they were really into Volkswagen Beetles. It was only a matter of time before this Barkada started getting the attention of local Latino gangs such as 18th Street and Echo Park. Oftentimes, these confrontations would turn violent, causing the Filipinos and the Latinos to get into street fights. After this car club kept getting challenged by the local Latino street gangs, it's rumored word that some members from the car club Barkada sought help from other Pinoys that were from Temple Street and another Barkada under the name 13PI, but somebody's gonna have to fact check me on that one. It's believed that this car club, with the help of other local Barkadas, formed the origins of Satanas. But it depends who you ask. Some will deny that STS was ever a car club. I found this article, I'm gonna link it in the description below. It was a great read, and if you guys are into the history of Filipino culture, definitely go check out the article. You will see a lot of members throwing up this hand sign, and for anybody wondering why, it's because it symbolizes pitchforks, like the devil's pitchfork. And of course, you'll always have dudes chucking up the S with both hands for STS. After doing a bunch of research, it seems that the main confusion with Satanas is their affiliation with Temple Street. Some say they were originally a small clique of Temple Street, and others will deny that claim. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys could shed some light on this topic in the comments below. But anyway, from 1975 to 1978, Satanas experienced rapid growth, which in turn began the decline of Filipino members within Temple Street. But Satanas and Temple Street have always remained in good standing with one another, which played a big role in the war between Satanas and 18th Street. In 1979, a Filipino member from Temple Street was stabbed in the back and killed with a screwdriver by members of the 18th Street gang. Even though the victim wasn't from Satanas, STS still took it personally because it was a death of a Pinoy by Latino hand. In the following month, Satanas and 18th Street were involved in a deadly war that had retaliations going down on a daily basis. It wouldn't be long before LAPD Asian Gang Task Force really started applying the pressure on Satanas, which caused STS to bail out and lay low for a while in various other cities and states. When STS came back to LA after their hiatus, many other Filipino Barkadas had formed in Los Angeles. Groups like Pinoy Real and Bahala Na, and these groups would fight for the #1 spot. Bahala Na, aka BNG, became one of Satanas' #1 rivals next to Pinoy Real. In the 1980s, Satanas found themselves fighting against other Filipinos as well as the local Latino street gangs. If you guys want to see a video dedicated to the beef between STS and BNG, make sure you let me know in the comment sections below. I think we can all agree that Satanas is one of the more badass names when it comes to gangs. While the origins of how they came up with the name is kinda hazy, it's believed, or rumor has it, that they were hanging out in a bowling alley and one of their homies was like, "What's up, you bunch of Satans," in Tagalog, and it just stuck. But somebody's gonna need to fact check me on that one as well. Another fun fact that I heard was that Crooks and Castle is actually run by Satanas members, or the founders were STS members, which is kind of interesting to see because I remember going to Cerritos High School and everybody had Crooks and Castle on, and I heard STS is kind of big in Cerritos, so I don't know. Could be something there, not too sure. It feels like the Satanas members from Los Angeles are a little bit more Chicano influenced, and the other Satanas that exist in the other places like Cerritos and other cities, they're a little bit more Pinoy influenced. Gang activity for the Filipino side of things has really died down a lot since the 80s and 90s because that's about the time they were really peaking in activity. But as of right now, it's been rather calm because a lot of the youth has transitioned into car culture and party culture, which was really taking the nation by storm in the 90s and the early 2000s. And honestly, I'm glad that the new generation is slowly starting to realize that this gang life is not for anybody, especially in the year 2022. We all know where that life ends up. I repeat this message in all of my videos, but like I always say, this life ain't for you. What's interesting about Satanas is that some members will run Southside in the county jails, but it's totally up to the individual because I actually did time with 2 members from STS. Shout out to Chase and shout out to Mark, I think his name was, Mark from STS. They took care of me when I was in the 600 floor. Righteous people, real good homeboys, but some choose to run Southside, some choose to run other, and I found that pretty interesting because they have such Chicano ties. I had a great time making this video because I got love from my Pinoys. I mean, my wife is Filipino, I love the food, I love the culture, so making this video was really fun, reading up on the culture, the history, I had a blast. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave me something in the comment sections below, but without, shit. But until next time, I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.